Hello everyone! I'm delighted to welcome you back to another episode of our video series on sewing machine needles. In today's episode, we're turning our attention to needles with cutting points, which are ideally suited for sewing on leather. So let's get ready to explore together the features and application fields of the different point styles now. First of all, I would like to provide you with some background information on why needles with cutting points are used. When sewing leather, normal round points, which are generally used for textile fabrics, are not the best option, as they will produce an irregular seam on leather items. With cutting points, the needle will actually cut the leather in a very precise and predefined manner, and as a result, an even seam pattern is created. Also, each cutting point will achieve a very specific seam appearance. So now I would like to explain the different cutting point styles Groz Beckert offers in a lot more detail. Let's start with the R point. Although this is a normal round point without any cutting effect, it can be used to create almost straight seams on leather. It is mainly recommended for sewing on soft leather, for multi-directional sewing operations, or a combination of leather and textile applications. When using an R point on leather, please remember that the seam may be slightly irregular in appearance. Let's now focus on the real cutting points. When talking about the needle cutting point, please note that I will always refer to the needle threading orientation from left to the right. The first one to explain is the LR point. It cuts the leather at an angle of 45 degrees rightward to the sewing direction. Therefore, the incision is slanted to the right and the thread is slightly slanted to the left. The stitch holes are clearly visible. You can use the LR point for decorative seams on all kinds of leather. The counterpart to the LR point is the LL point. It cuts the leather at an angle of 45 degrees leftward to the sewing direction. Thus, the incision is slanted to the left, which results in a straight seam appearance with stitch holes that are largely filled. Like the LR point, the LL point is suitable for decorative seams on all kinds of leather. Another point style for straight seams is the S point. It cuts the leather in a sewing direction, producing a straight seam with long and clearly visible stitch holes. As the seam looks almost identical from above and below, the S point is particularly suitable for seams that are visible from both sides. So in general, the S point is recommended for soft and medium hard leathers. We will now look at the P and PCL points. Both points cut the leather at an angle of 90 degrees to the sewing direction, resulting in a strongly slanted and elevated thread position. They are mainly used in closing seams, such as for heel and back seams on shoes and bags, and they can also be used for very prominent and decorative seams on thick and hard leather applications. The special feature of the PCL point is the point groove that runs to the left. This groove protects the thread from being pulled over the cutting edge and being damaged. Let's continue with the D point, which makes a big triangular cut in the leather. This results in a straight and slightly elevated seam with very large stitch holes. The D point is suitable for hard and thick leather, but can also be used for cardboard. Compared to the D point, the DH point produces a smaller triangular cut in the leather. It also creates straight and slightly elevated seams and can also be used for sewing on medium and hard leather. When looking at the SD point, you will note that it is a round point with a small triangular tip. This leads to a minor cutting effect with a smaller triangular cut in the leather, making the SD point particularly suited for soft and thin leather. In addition, the SD point produces straight seams that look identical in all sewing directions. So for this, the SD point is the perfect solution for multi-directional sewing applications on leather. Let's conclude today's journey with another look at all the different point styles that can be used for leather. With so many options to choose from, you will always be able to find the needle that suits you and your application best. I hope you have enjoyed our exploration. For more information, follow us on YouTube and LinkedIn and visit our customer portal. I'm eagerly looking forward to seeing you all again in our future episodes of Groz Beckert Sewing.